5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Oka Cast, a conversation show where two dumb fucks talk about whatever's on their minds. I'm your host and your best friend, Alan.
And I'm Thinh, the other co-host.
Hello, Thinh.
Not your best friend. You gotta earn my best friend status.
I mean, I figure the only people who are listening to this are our friends.
True. They are our pretty close friends.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your host and your best friend. We're actually recording this super early since our last recording. Like, we just recorded, and then like maybe a week and a half later, we're recording again. Mm-hmm. We're just busy in December, you know?
It's a whole month of us doing shit. But yeah, we're still thinking about like backdating it or releasing at a later date, just so it's on schedule.
Now we're thinking like real content creators now, you know? Even if we can't make stuff on schedule, we release stuff on schedule.
Right. Yeah. Right. We're on a schedule now, so we have to abide to these rules. Gotta make enough content.
Even though we're only making it for friends, and I don't think anyone would care that much, I still feel like personally I want to be consistent, you know.
Yeah.
And like I want the content to be good, and I want, even though it's just for, I mean, you guys, I want you guys to listen to good stuff.
Yeah. I don't want you guys to be like listening on some like shit that's boring or like nothing or something that you can't relate to.
Right. Yeah. Fun. Like I don't want to half-ass it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to talk about this week, Thinh?
I have no clue. Nothing came to mind. But
I have a question. A question.
Sure.
This is kind of a meta question. So how personal do you think you can get on this podcast? Like, how deep can you get? And I asked that because, like, I'm just curious what your boundaries are. Like, what are we allowed? Like, how far deep into your personal feelings or like your real life are you willing to share with the rest of us?
I would say I'm okay with telling my story, things about myself, how I've felt about circumstances or scenarios or situations. I can't speak for Tiffany though. I do have to ask her. So whatever my life is with Tiffany it's like locked in a box with Tiffany right now. Unless she's okay, if I had to talk to her about it, like what can I share about us, you know, because I don't want her to feel uncomfortable that our lives are out there, because you know.
That's true. And your lives are so intertwined now, and like so much of it is intertwined now. Like you guys have been together for a long time. Mm-hmm. So there probably are a ton of like stories and a ton of like personal things that you can't or you don't feel comfortable sharing because you don't have Tiffany's permission, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. So but I'm not afraid to tell about my life before I met Tiffany.
What about like how much of your life now can you talk about that's not Tiffany related?
I guess because Tiffany doesn't, at some point she was during school or whatever, or she had work, she couldn't really come out to hang out. But like those are situations I can talk about.
Okay.
But other than that, like if there's anything that she wasn't a part of, like in attendance, like maybe me and like talking to my friends that she hasn't really met yet, then yeah, okay, I could talk about that.
What about stuff like that you just feel, like just personal stuff?
Yes, I would definitely be open to talking about how I feel, because I feel like talking about more about how you felt about a situation or scenario, it becomes more personal. Like you can relate to it more or understand the person better.
Because I was thinking about some of the stuff that I could talk about, and I was like, man, a lot of it involves people that might listen to this, you know? So I was
right.
Like,
that's what I'm thinking too.
I was like, if I use like no names, maybe it'll be okay. But then at the same time, it's like still, you know?
It's like, how do we talk about our friends without putting names out?
Right.
It's hard. I don't know. It's like I thought about it too, and I don't know.
Because I would consider myself a pretty open book. Like if you ask me any question, I will answer it for the most part. Like 99% of the time, I will answer any question that you ask me. Mm-hmm. And then, but that's the thing though. I would love to answer it, but I don't know if like the other people involved are okay with it.
Right. Like you have your opinions on the subject, but just talking about what happened is another issue.
Right.
And like putting people's names out there. I don't know. It's hard because I do want to talk about some stuff too for podcast reasons, you know. But like people are involved. I don't have the permission, but I could, in a way, I guess if it's something that's not as serious, like something hilarious, then it'll be fine. But it was like some kind of drama and what we thought about it, then it's a different story.
But that's where all the good, like,
juicy
thoughts
dude.
are, you
that's
know?
What
Like,
I'm saying. Fuck. I want to talk about it because it's like, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Are we willing to throw some friends under the bus or, you know, or people we know?
For example, I won't name any names, right? But let's say two people went out and then they are no longer going out, and you want to talk about it, but you don't want to like put people's names in there and like make them feel uncomfortable.
Right. Like me and Joanna. I understand.
Right.
Right.
Shout out to... No, not shout out to... She doesn't listen to this.
No, thank God. I hope not. Shit. I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Do we? I mean, all right, fine. How about this? We put up a rule, like you'll ask me a question or I ask you a question, and you'd be like, no comment. Like, and that'll be like our signal, like that's off limits. We're not talking about that. Move on.
It's hard to like all this good stuff that we would want to ask you. Mm-hmm. Involves Tiffany because it's about your relationship, you know.
I guess we could talk about the good stuff. I just don't think we could talk about any
right,
any
of
the bad
course,
stuff.
unless she was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you could just do a podcast with Tiffany, I guess.
Like an interview with Tiffany.
Yeah. But all right, you know what? Just shoot me a question. How about that?
I'll throw you a softball one first.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
How have you and Tiffany made it last this long? Or actually, let me throw even a little bit of a harder one for you.
Softball to a hardball?
Has there ever been a point where you thought it wouldn't last?
That I wouldn't last.
Was there ever a point where you felt like this is coming to an end?
There was one point, not from her, but more so me.
Yeah. I'm asking just, have you ever felt like, this is...
I think
we're almost
it
done.
was around like 2 years into our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just one bad week where I was Tiffany was just like getting mad at me for like all these little things, and the one that really stuck with me was that like she asked me to pick her up from work. This is when she was working at Rite Aid, and I was 15 minutes late for when she got off. I went to pick her up. I was like, guys, I'm sorry that I'm late, but she like got really mad. I was like, dude, Tin, I told you this time. I was like, okay, I'm sorry, but I feel like you could have been a little more appreciative because I came out here to pick you up, kind of thing. But I understand, like, working at Rite Aid, she gets really stressed. But ever since that incident happened, I was just kind of thinking of like, maybe I'm not really happy right now. And Tiffany is not really making me happy right now. Because she was just getting constantly mad at me. So I had the thought of this breaking up because I couldn't really handle how much like flack I was getting.
It was like over a course of a week, you said, right? That you felt like...
It was just like, that was like maybe a tipping point where I started to think about it.
Right.
But everything before that, it's just kind of like a lot of small things that's kind of led up to a big
like
thing.
Death by a thousand cuts sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like she was just kept giving me a hard time about the smallest little things here and there, and I was just like, Tiffany, come on, like, what? Maybe she had a right to be. Maybe I'm just like, I did something so stupid or so oblivious that it made her mad, So like,
wait, I'm gonna stop you right there. Don't speak for Tiffany.
Okay, fine. You're right. Good catch. But yes, she did a lot of, like, she got mad at me for those small things at the time. In my mind, I'm like, dude, this is like, why is this going on right now? It's been for a whole week, and then like, yeah, I don't know. I was considering it.
So what made you power through? What made you like think like, okay, maybe I'll just push through this?
I talked about it to Dewey, actually, at the time. We were in the game room and we were playing pool. And I think at the time, he was the only person I told. I didn't tell anyone else about what was going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Dewey, I think I might be thinking about breaking up with Tiffany. He was like, and he told me, like, you're going to regret it if you do it. I was like, really? Like, I was like, yeah, like, what you're going through right now is only temporary. Like, it's not going to last like this forever. And then once you're out of it, once this temporary is over, or if you do break up with her in this temporary time or moment, and when you finally get out of that temporary moment, you're going to realize, like, fuck, you're going to regret it. And like, fuck, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done it. It's like, just wait this out. Like,
it's literally a rough patch.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it really was. It's just a rough patch. It almost tipped me over. But I'm really glad I didn't. She actually doesn't even know about this. So I don't know how I feel talking about this right now. And she's finding out this way. Because I never wanted her to feel like any insecurity in this relationship.
Right.
And I feel like the reason why I haven't told her is because I don't want her to feel like she should be scared.
But this is so far removed, though. This is
exactly. It's so like
coming up on like 5 years ago.
Not 2 years ago. 2 years into a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Do you think like you would have tried to get back together if you had broken up? I mean, it's a.
I would want to. In my head, I would want to.
Because probably immediately after that rough patch, things were okay again, right?
Yeah. Things was great after that.
Right.
I don't think I've ever had it. Like, ever since that rough patch, I like never had another rough patch with her again. Like, we have like days where we just kind of get annoyed or like, just,
right.
you know.
And
yeah.
I feel like you guys are one of the most communicative couples I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You know, like I have a lot of friends who are couples, and I know a lot of people who have been in long relationships, and they just do not, like, even longer than yours. Like, they've been together 10 years, coming up on like 12 years, and they still don't communicate as well as you guys do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So props to you guys for doing that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It just was really easy to talk to Tiffany. But like, it wasn't always this way. We worked on it. Cause in the beginning, it's just really funny. It was just like any other relationship. She would get mad. I would wonder like, what's going on? But she wouldn't tell me. Like, at the time, she grew out of this, but at the time, she would think, you're supposed to know what's wrong with me. So she wouldn't tell me. But later on, she knew, oh my God, he's not a mind reader. I actually have to tell him what's wrong with me for him to know, and, you know, so we can fix it. And that was like, kind of like a good point where kind of trajectory our communication skills, because then I told her I'm not scared to tell her how I'm feeling. You know, she's seen me at my worst. Mm-hmm. And when you have someone who's seen you at your worst, I'm getting emotional. Give me a second. I'm getting caught in my feels. Oh, okay. When you have someone who's seen you,
this is exactly what I want.
You fucking bitch. You bringing out content out of me. When you have someone who's seen you at your worst and still stick by you, it's like, it means a lot.
So you guys are coming up on 8 years, right? 7 years.
Come 8 years. 8 years in January. January 1st.
Yeah. With that in mind, 8 years. What is your trajectory from here? What is your game plan looking into the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Well, we're saving up for a house currently. Hopefully get engaged, get a house, and at some point wedding. Those three things are expected to happen.
What's the priority?
Either the house or the ring. But going back to what I was saying, for someone to be there, even though at my worst too, it just makes things for me a lot easier to tell her things, how I feel about any negative emotion that I might have.
That's rare. It's not easy to find someone who's you're able to do that with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I tell her the things I'm scared of, because that's who your partner should be, right? It's someone who you can confide in.
Would you consider Tiffany your friend?
Hi, my bestest lover friend. That
do you? So yeah, that's what I'm asking. So is there a distinction between the friendship that you have with everyone else versus the friendship that you have with Tiffany? I mean, obviously there's like a girlfriend aspect to it, but is there an actual friendship there? You know what I mean?
Like before we started dating?
And now, because I feel like some people treat their girlfriends differently than they do their friends who are girls, you know? So my question is, obviously you're going to treat her different in romantic stuff, right? But then you're not always romantic with someone, you know? That's not 100% of the time. So the rest of the time, you're just spending time together as friends. Potentially.
Okay.
Or because, see, I don't want to drop names, you know? I was like, I was about to give an example, but
Bro, I'm dropping stories over here. You can
fuck.
can you say person 1, person A?
All right, so I know a couple who, he's like one of my college friends. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Him and his girlfriend, I feel like he acts so weird because I don't hang out with his girlfriend that often, but when she's there, he acts all like cutesy and stuff. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And then it's just a huge shift when it's just like him and us and some friends.
It's like a different personality in a way.
Yeah. And then I'm like, do you act like this when we're not here? And he's like, I always act like that with her, you know? And I was like, that doesn't feel like a friendship. It feels like you have like a pet, you know, or like a baby, like a cutesy baby, you know, like, oh, googly gaga. Right. I'm like, it doesn't feel like a real friendship. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, this definitely does. Yeah, because like she has stories to tell me, I have stories to tell her, and we just tell her like, you know, we're just really invested in each other's like communication. There are times where I just kind of like stare at my phone and I just kind of block out whatever she's saying. But for the most part, when we're in like a conversation, we are actually hearing each other. You know, I don't think I do like the little cutie stuff. But like when I'm hanging out with her at her house, I would talk about like shows and we'll watch shows together. And like I don't know, yeah, I would say with a friendship, with a romantic interest.
So there's like a romantic relationship.
Yes.
Built on the foundation of a friendship, right?
Yes. Yes. That's a good way to put it, actually. Yes. I don't know. It's hard. People have come up to me and they see our relationship as not perfect, but as like a role model,
right,
of the relationship to be. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh shit.
Right. So do you feel like a undue amount of pressure because of that? Do you feel like, wow, we have to maintain a certain like level of something, or like or at least pretend to, you know?
A little bit. I think there's a little bit of pressure, but I don't hold it against anyone. Like that's what people think. I'm like, shit. Like, well, this is not too bad because I'm just doing the same thing at what I usually do with Tiffany. I'm not like trying harder than another couple to, you know, to please Tiffany or something, or just to show off that I can be a better boyfriend. You know, I'm not trying to outdo anyone. I'm just being a couple who just like a boyfriend who loves Tiffany. I'm just doing what I normally do, but just hearing the opinions, I guess, or like how people see us, in a way, it like just a tad bit. It's like, oh, that's what they think. That's like a nice compliment in a way. At the same time, like I hope nothing in the end disappoints them. You know, I don't want to disappoint them.
Right. Like they find out the real truth and their illusion is shattered.
Exactly. You know.
What do you mean you poop?
But like, I mean, maybe just hearing the story just now about how at one point I went through that rough patch.
Right.
Maybe at that point they probably won't see it as like a perfect relationship, and that's fine.
But like, what relationship is perfect though?
Yeah, that's true.
Show me the receipts.
I just want them to know that any relationship can have like a rough patch. Right. It's just about knowing when it's happening.
But then at the same time though, Tin, you guys had one moment in your span of like 8 years. That's nothing. That's literally nothing, dude.
That's true. Nothing else kind of really comes to mind about me being mad at Tiffany or something, or, you know, her putting me in a bad state.
Right.
But like, other than that, that was it.
Tiffany's listening to this and like, She's like, oh shit, I have way more examples.
She's got like 5 other mod patches.
Gotta get her back on this podcast.
Yeah, get her talking. Get her talking. Ask her all the questions. Oh god.
For the most part, I think everyone thinks that you're a pretty happy person, right? Mm-hmm. Is that always true? Like, obviously you're gonna have bad days, but I'm saying like on the whole, like as in general,
Yes.
you would consider yourself a happy person.
Yes.
Because that baffles me. Like, that's crazy to me, because I would say I'm the opposite. I'm on the whole pretty bummed out all the time, like really sad.
Really?
And then I have days that are good, you know?
shit.
I'm like, I have good days, and then versus where you have bad days.
Right. Yes. Okay. I see your point. Oh fuck, bro.
See
You
what
been
I mean?
feeling that way?
I mean, I felt this way for like a long time, and I just thought it was normal. I thought everyone was just like on this level of like
Of blah.
medium.
Oh, dude. Oh, for real.
I was like, everyone's not dialed to 5. Everyone's dialed to like 10 all the time.
I would say I'm at like a 9.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
I'm like at a 5 most days, and then like some good days I'll crank it up to an 8 or a 9. I'm
How
like,
long
nice.
has this been going on for you, man?
I don't know, forever.
Forever? Since you
Well,
were born?
I would say like probably since I like was a teenager. I was a pretty angsty teenager.
I think
And then I
was
grew up
too.
into an angsty adult.
Yeah. Dang.
That's why like I find a lot of relief, I guess, or joy in creative stuff. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like, it's an outlet. You can
express yourself.
Right. I think that's why I was so excited to do this podcast, was because it felt like a creative outlet, and specifically one that's meant to help us express ourselves, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want everyone to know who I am on this podcast.
Maybe I should ask about you.
Well,
how much are you willing to share?
that's what I said. I'm willing to answer any questions, except for ones that are like involve people we know.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to drop names. Actually, no. I'll answer the question, but I just won't say their name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. You
Like-
can just describe me, the person. You don't have to say names. And how that
Like-
person made you feel, or what that person, like, scenario-wise, what did something funny to you?
Let's try to get personal. Let me see. How much can I share here?
How about I just ask you a question to see
All
where
right,
that
I
goes?
got one. So I talked to you like 2 years ago on that first camping trip with Ashley. Mm-hmm. And Ashley went to sleep in the tent, and we were just me and you, and we were sitting by the fire, mm-hmm. and we talked about all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like after that, probably like a year and a half of ups and downs with that situation. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Remember, like, at Moonrise, too? So whoever's listening to this right now is like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's so vague. It's literally like, you only understand because I've told you this before,
Yeah.
but whoever's listening to this is like,
Right now, it's like an inside joke between the two of us right now. And Ross is like, damn, what the fuck is going on?
I just a bad example. Never mind. Just ask me a question. But basically, what I was trying to get at is that, so for those, I'm just gonna say it. So I liked someone for a long time, mm-hmm. and it was, honestly, I feel like pretty unhealthy for me.
Right.
It made me feel so bad because at the time.
In what way do you mean by bad?
So like I liked them for a long time, and then when they told me they didn't feel the same way, I like shut down. You know,
Right.
I made it all about me, and like I was like, why is this happening? Like, you know, I was so what's the word? I don't know. I was just being really selfish, I think. Mm-hmm. So after that, I just like stopped like talking to them. I stopped like texting, and I felt like at first I told myself I needed time. I was like, this is because I just need some time to like deal with it, process it, and just come to terms with whatever like that whole situation was, right? And eventually, like, I took time, and then I took more time, and then it just became like I just stopped like talking to her. I was like basically ignoring her.
Okay.
And then when I realized what I was doing, I was like, this is so toxic. And I'm like, why am I doing this? You know, like, she doesn't deserve that. I don't need to be like that. I'm better than this. But at the same time, though, like, whenever we would like see her in person, I would feel like all these things like coming back. And I was like, man, why am I feeling this way? Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. And then I started like hating on myself again, because I was like, man, I'm such a fake friend. Like, I'm just acting like everything's cool, and I'm like acting like I'm acting like it's not a problem, when I would just like go home and think about it all night or think about it all day and be like, why am I doing this? Why is like, and it didn't feel healthy. I would say that was like my life for the better part of like a year. From 2 years ago, that camping trip, all the way up into around like Moonrise 2018.
Damn, bro. Was it like a really dark time for you? Was that like constantly on your mind during that time?
I don't know if it was like a dark time, but I did feel like super self-conscious. Like, there's a lot of times I was just like, oh, she's gonna be there. How do I dress? What do I do? Like,
It's like,
I gotta act normal. Gotta be
yeah.
like, chill the fuck out, you know? And then it's not until like now, where I'm looking back on that year of my life, I'm just like, it was really unhealthy, you know? I wouldn't say it was a waste of time, but it was very unproductive. You know what I mean?
And it drove you to do things a certain way that it's usually out of your habit, like your mindset. It's like, it's not, you're not really being you if you're thinking about someone else, you know. You're just, it just more so sounds like you're trying to impress someone else by being a certain someone, versus you wearing what you want, dress like you want, talk the way, act the way you want.
It felt very like stupid now that I think about it. I was like, this is not, I'm not being the best me right now.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's why back to that positivity train. That's why in 2019, I was like really adamant about like spinning this all around. I was like, all right, I'm done being like this, you know? So this is a year about me. It's not about her. Like, it's not about anybody else. It's about me, you know? Try to be a better me, like, love me first. You're right? So that's what this year has been about.
That's good. And have you been making progress on that goal, or have you maintained in that level of all about me?
Yeah, I feel like it's been much better.
What things have you been doing differently?
So what really helped me is mindfulness, which is basically just thinking about your problems objectively and thinking about your problems in a very non-judgmental way. But like, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You kind of just take a step back and look on whatever needs to be addressed at the moment. You know, you just kind of look at it.
Like taking a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Right. Like just mindfulness. Just thinking about being more like...
self-aware?
Yeah, meta. More self-reflecting.
That's what meta means.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man. I feel like just being able to be self-aware is such a huge quality to have.
Yeah. But you should be self-aware in a way that's productive. You know, you got to be non-judgmental. Like, you should be able to think about stuff in a healthy way. Like, you don't say like, oh, I hate that I'm feeling this way. Just, you are feeling this way.
Yeah.
And like,
accept it.
Yeah. Just, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
That's why it was so unhealthy. It was just like constantly thinking like, oh, I shouldn't like this. Like, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't like her the way I do. Because it was all putting this notion on it, or this like idea that it's bad to feel this way. Like, I shouldn't feel this way, and it's ruining this, or like it's making it bad. But when I took a step back and just started thinking about it, like, oh, you do feel this way, and that's okay, right? But then now you have to look at it and just take a step forward from it. that really helped me this year.
I'm proud. Good job, man.
Thanks.
Are you still, would you say you are still at a happiness level of 5?
Like on the whole,
Yeah.
I would say in general, yeah. Well, it's better than being below 5, which I was at for a while, you know?
True.
So I feel like I'm making progress, just slowly cranking it up.
That's good. I think what really helps me keep me, okay, maybe I'm not at 9, but I'm probably like an 8 more, so now I think about it. What really keeps me at an 8 is I kind of look forward to the next like event in my life. Not big event per se, but like maybe even like Christmas, Pollyanna, you know, I'm like, dude, I can't wait. I'm at an 8 right now. I can't wait to see all my friends again. Friendsgiving was fun. I was looking forward. Now I'm looking forward for Friends with Pollyanna or Secret Santa. And what also really helps is that me hanging out with Tiffany's, it's life together with her is like really great. We are very open. We always, you know, we don't always do everything together, but if we ever have something to say or to vent about, we vent to each other, you know. And she listens, you know. That's like the great thing that really has been keeping me at an 8.
I mean, yeah, a good support system is always very helpful.
But just like what I talked about last podcast, just like we'll go into a mirror, look at yourself, just appreciating yourself, giving yourself some love. I think, yeah, like I said before, the Fab Five taught me that. It's like, you know, so that's what been helping me stay at this level. Just know who you are, realize what you're feeling, because in that moment you have so many emotions that can take you over, that you kind of you can probably act irrationally. And if you just take the time to stop, take a deep breath, go over what you're feeling, just accept that you're feeling it, but like you said, just move forward from it. Just acknowledge that you're going to be feeling it, but just do something about it, you know.
So you were saying you kept looking forward to things to like help you stay like excited?
Yep.
I feel like I used to be stuck in the past a lot. I would say for the better part of like my early 20s, I was always thinking about the past. I was like, oh, what could I have done better? What should I have done here? Maybe what if this had gone differently? What if this had gone differently? But then I would say like recently, this 2019, you know, new year, new me, I started focusing more on the right now. You know what I mean? So I used to like, especially because I used to get stressed out about the future as well. So I would stress myself out about the future or the past and all the things I've done wrong. And then I would stress out about the future. Like, shit, I have to do this by then, this by then, this by then. And I was like starting to freak out, you know? But then once I started like condensing my window, my focus down to like maybe a week or like a day, I feel like I changed. I was like, wow, today I'm going to do these things. And these are my goals for today. Like, see my friend. Next thing would be like, eat a salad. Next thing would be like, listen to this playlist, you know? And
like
it would
small
just,
goals.
yeah. And then I would start crossing things off. I would write them down. I would start crossing things off. And it felt very satisfying. I was like, I'm living right now. This is me right now.
Exactly. You're in the good times. You just gotta know how to live it, you know?
Yeah.
It's always nice to look back and feel some kind of nostalgia. Remember what the good old days was like, like when you hung out with Totem Elite, the good old days. But now, like, you have to remember that you also are living the good days too. So it's nice to review, but focus on what's going on right now. This was what's gonna make the best of it. That way, you have more good old days to look back on.
That's true. But the thing for me though was like I was so bad at like holding on to the good times. I was like always focusing on. I would either focus too much on the things I've done wrong, or I would hold on too tight to the things that went great in the past. I was like, why can't it be? Why can't I have that again? Or like, why can't I find someone like that ever again, you know?
Right.
And then it made me like resent what I don't have now. And then like in the future, it was like there's so much urgency. It was like, oh, I can't wait to go there, or I can't wait to be at this point in my life. I can't wait to see this person. But then it was like, now I'm like just waiting for the future. So it was hard to find a balance, but I think I'm at a good place now where I can look back, but then still look forward
ahead.
and just, I find like a good small window, I think.
And what's even better is that we have this podcast now.
I feel like I'm becoming like a Buddhist, dude. Like Zen Buddhism.
Right?
I feel like I'm becoming a Buddhist. Right now is all we have. Life is suffering.
I feel like I don't have the stress of school.
That's a big relief.
Yeah, and like knowing I have a job, it's taken a ton of weight off of my fucking shoulders.
For real. Would you ever go back to school?
Hell, like, well, I do plan to, but just because I have to in order to keep my job.
Right.
But no, I mean, at this point in my life, how I'm feeling right now, in the moment, I don't want to. I don't want to go back to school.
Because there's some people who, like, I've talked to, and they're like, man, work is such a grind. I wish I could go back to school. And I was like, what?
The fuck?
School wasn't a grind for you? Like, what were you doing?
People have so easy.
I think people just miss seeing their friends every day. Like, hanging out with this, like,
That's
people
true.
in your class.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. I hated school so much that I'm willing to give up my like sorry, I can't go back. Never. I can't do it.
I've gone out the tunnel of education.
Yeah.
And I love it on the outside.
What helps is that I honestly only hung out with like 3 or 4 people in college, and I still hang out with those 3 or 4 people now, so
I feel like when you're in college, you have all these friends who are suffering like you with the stress of school, thinking if you're gonna or not thinking, but like sharing your aspirations of what you guys are going to be, you know, like, oh, we're going to become pharmacists, oh, we're going to become nurses,
like a shared struggle.
Yeah, a shared struggle, and like you guys are elevating each other in a way, you know, you're like, nice job, man, you passed that test, nice, you passed the boards, nice, you landed a job, dude, we're getting there. And it's like, holy shit, it's like we're here. But yeah, that shared struggle, it's like when you can relate to someone else going through the same things you are, it makes it that much more easier to get along, and you feel more connected. And I feel like that's what we got a lot from this from a Temple game room friends, you know. And we all share the same interests whenever they came up. Play StarCraft. We play ping pong. We'll go to the Sexy Green Truck get food together. And we will wait for Free Food Fun Fridays. You know, it's just a bunch of like common interests and do things fun with each other.
You know what's nuts is that Free Food Fun Friday, like, I remember that's part of my high school memories.
Oh, shit.
That's how
right.
long ago it was for me.
Oh!
I was still in high school when you guys
were in
college.
Oh, we're in college. That's right. How much younger are you? Like 3 years younger than me?
I am born in 94, yeah.
I was born in 92.
So, when you were a freshman in college, I was a junior in high school.
Okay. That makes sense. Damn, I met you when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. That puts it into perspective.
That's what I'm saying. I was a child when you met me. Now I'm a old, sad child.
Oh, dude. Why can't be a happy,
I'm not
bloated man?
I'll say I'm like a neutral adult.
Why neutral when you can be chaotic good? But it's like, it's hard because not everyone feels. I mean, there are like dark areas of my life, but I've learned or have come to accept them for what it is. I don't resent it.
Right.
So I think that's helped me a lot to be the 8 that I am, you know? Mm-hmm. And I appreciate and grateful for the positive things in my life. And all that like outweighs the bad.
Right. I feel like I'm much more content now. I'm much more grateful for the things that I do have versus like a year ago. I was like, why don't I have this? You know, or like, why can't we like share this like together? Like, why can't we be like this? Now I'm like, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You just have to accept it and make the best out of it.
Exactly. Rather than focusing on the things that you don't have, you look at your life and you say, wow, I have a great support system. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people who love me, and I'm just cruising, you know?
Yeah. Enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the ride. Don't be mad of the path you take.
Like,
you know,
people are always saying like, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Exactly.
And I'm not even focused on the journey. I'm focused on the car's pulled over. We're just chilling, looking around at the view.
True. We're pausing on the rest of life and just sitting back and just
focusing on like the view that we have right now.
Right. All right. Damn. I love these metaphors. Shit is off the chains, baby. All right. Do you mind me asking another question?
Go for it.
Does that person still have the same effect or has any effect on you are today?
It's an interesting question. I feel like the reason I felt so like strongly was because it was the first time in a long time that I had felt anything. Mm-hmm. So I had a long time girlfriend in high school, mm-hmm. and I thought I had found it. I was like, I'm done. Like, this is it. Right. This is the one. I'm done. And it obviously that wasn't true. Like, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But after that, I was so like lost. I was like, I have no idea what to do now after this. I had spent all of my college years very distant. Like, I would date a lot, but I would never get close enough for anything real to happen, you know? I would date, ghost, break up. You know, it was like often, and it was not great. Mm-hmm. And I realized what I was doing, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be alone and just like hang out and be me. And then suddenly I just realized that I liked this person. And I realized that it kind of hit me like out of nowhere, you know? And when I tried to think about it, I was like, there wasn't really a reason why, or like it wasn't something like some grand romantic thing. It was just, it happened. And I was like, wow. And it was, at first I was like, oh, it's just a small like crush, you know, like whatever. And then when I realized it wasn't, like I started thinking about her like all the time. Even when we weren't texting, we weren't talking or anything, I would just sit there doing something, and I'd be like, I wonder what she would think about this. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy, you know? Where I'm including her and wanting to share experiences with her that she wasn't even a part of, or like we weren't even like talking or texting or anything, and she just popped up. That's how I knew. I was like, wow, I haven't felt this sort of thing in a long time. So to answer your question, I would say there's always going to be a part of me that like appreciates that. You know, I appreciate that she helped me learn to feel something for someone again, you know? Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that she helped me learn to be a better person. After like that whole situation where I like stopped talking to her and stuff, it helped me realize that that's not the kind of person I want to be, and I should be better than that, you know? So she helped me realize I needed to wake the fuck up, you know?
And I kind of understand how you would feel after feeling that your feelings weren't reciprocated, because I've been in that position myself as well. And it's like a lot to take in, like, because you've had feelings for this person and it's not returned. You feel kind of hurt in a way, but you like also trying to figure out ways to make yourself better.
The biggest thing for me was trying to return to baseline, you know, like right. I just want us to be back to normal as soon as possible. Like I just don't want us to be weird. But then trying to force that immediately was weird, mm-hmm. you know? But yeah, I would say it doesn't affect me the same way. But when I look at her, I feel like grateful, and I feel like I'm glad that I've grown since then, you know?
Would you ever tell it to her face?
Yeah, she probably listens to this.
Probably. Yeah. Would you ever tell it to her face?
I think I could. I think I want to.
Do you think you can get back to baseline with her?
I would say I don't think we're back to baseline.
Not yet.
But then I don't know what that means though anymore.
Like just,
you know.
Was there ever a point where you two were just friends before these feelings started kicking in?
Yeah, of course.
And do you think you can get back to that just friends level?
I mean, in my opinion, I feel like we are there, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just a matter of spending more time together. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't really Snapchat anymore because I deleted it, and I don't text that much. So it's hard to get back to baseline when I don't do either of those things anymore.
Right.
Like the only social media I really use is Twitter, and even then I don't post that often. I just like look at memes, and so it's hard to like communicate when I don't text, when I don't snap. I don't know.
That's true. You kind of lose your other avenues of communication. Have you ever thought about just shooting her a text?
Yeah. I mean, we text occasionally, like, but
that's true.
I text everyone very occasionally. It's hard. So the thing about texting is I really want to text people all the time. Like, I want to maintain like an ongoing conversation with whoever.
Anyone.
Yeah. And I tried doing that with a couple of people, and it will go well for like a couple of weeks, and then it just falls off, And I try to keep it, but it's honestly exhausting because I don't want to force conversation, and at the same time, I want a conversation. So it's like
because then you're just having a conversation on your own terms.
Yeah.
Because when you feel like bursting out and telling everyone everything, they might not be feeling your vibe yet.
Yeah.
You either wait for them to get there, but like by the time they get there, you're already out of that vibe. So it's like I know how you mean, because I feel the same way too. Sometimes I just get really social and just share everything, But sometimes I don't give a shit. I just laugh by myself.
But yeah, other than that, I've gotten no other prospects in my life.
Yeah, no other candidates.
I mean, I just haven't really tried this. 2019 is about me, It's not about.
That's true.
It's not about her. It's about me, bitch. Just kidding.
I'm happy that you're able to get out of that.
Me too. I feel like I've aged like 5 years in 1 year. I've learned so much in 1 year.
You matured a little bit. Your mind leveled up. Now it was level 5 before. Now it's level 10. That's awesome. I'm happy. Now you can be the best Alan you can be.
You remember when I was like texting you about it? That whole situation.
Right. Yeah.
And then like after moonrise, I was like texting you. Like it was like 3 a.m. I texted you. And I was like, I feel like a fake friend.
Okay.
I suck.
Oh.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I was a fake friend, and I did suck.
Yeah. I mean, your emotions got the better of you.
Right.
I would say. And it happens. You're only human. Shit, like, I've done the same thing before too. Where I've been hurt, and I just had to cut someone off completely for my own betterment. For my own mental health. But you had to do the same, because I'm assuming during at the time, if you would see her, it would drive you mad, and and you wouldn't be able to focus on yourself because you would keep seeing her or talk to her. So you had to like cut off all like communications or whatever, just so you can give that time for yourself to gather yourself back.
Yeah. And I think I was too close to it. Like, and then now that I'm like, it's been a while and I've been more mindful this year, just thinking about it in a nonchalant, like just taking a step back and thinking about it, it's giving me a lot more perspective, so I can think back on it and be like,
and learn from it.
Versus while I was in it, I was like, man, this is all I see right now,
Yeah, you get blinded. It's crazy. It's nuts. How do you feel about this podcast so far?
I feel like there's a lot of stuff we need to chop out.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's good stuff.
Are we ready to share it?
I'm
Sometimes
okay.
I forgot the mics was here, so I
Same.
just kept talking, dude.
Same.
This is getting too real.
This is the stuff that I want.
Okay.
This is the sort of stuff that, like, so when I proposed the idea of people submitting questions, these are the questions that I wanted people to ask.
Right.
Like, I wonder how he feels about
This.
like stuff that they want to ask us, but they don't feel comfortable asking us in person.
Right.
So like they can ask anonymously, or they can ask, over the computer,
That way it'll entice them to hear our deeper thoughts that we don't normally say on a day-to-day basis. So this is actually, like, I guess it's very, in a way, it's very therapeutic too, just to even verbalize your feelings and being aware of what's going on. And I think our viewers / listeners would also appreciate that. It's nice content. We don't see each other enough to know what's going on in our heads.
Right.
So this is a way for them to, in a way, learn a little more about us that they never knew before. But yeah, I mean, this is good. So let's end it here.
Wait. We're not done. We're not done.
We're not done? Fuck. Okay, let's go.
When did you feel like you were going to, like, was there ever a point where you felt like you were like, okay, I'm going to marry Tiffany?
A lot.
Like, do you remember, like, any specific examples? The first time?
I think when we would just sit down, we were just chilling on her couch, and it's just like us being weird together. We're just having a conversation, and we're just laughing, having a good time, and it just like clicked, boop, like kind of like slowed down. I got, in a way, astral projected myself out of my body, and then I'm just like, wow, I'm really loving this moment right now, and I want this forever. I'm gonna marry this girl.
So it's like the little things, right? The little moments.
Yes, and there's a lot of little moments too. Sometimes when I'm even with her, I just think, well, not when we're like trying to go to bed. Sometimes I'll be just thinking of our wedding day, and I just imagine me and her being at the altar. I just start tearing up. I just get teared up, like tears of happiness. I'm like, wow, I can't wait for that day. It's kind of like that.
Have you ever talked to Brandon about it, or Vicky? I'm gonna marry your sister. Have you guys ever talked about that sort of thing?
In a way, yeah, we have. I haven't like told them like I'm gonna marry her. I think it's more so applied. Like,
okay,
they're just like, I've heard like Sabrina and Vicky have told me like you're basically my brother / cousin. You're basically family already. I'm just waiting for the day for you guys to get married. So they know the deal. I know the deal. And it's...
Was there ever a point early in the relationship where Brandon talked to you? Like, look, you're dating my sister. We need to, like, talk about what the situation is. That sort of thing?
Mm-mm. I never had that conversation with Brandon before.
What about her dad?
Mm-mm. Never had that conversation with her dad before.
Interesting. Just asking.
No, that's it. I mean, it's a fair question to ask, because I feel like I do that kind of shit.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So the reason I asked that is because I know you do that. Mm-hmm. You will pull people aside and give them the talk, Yeah.
On
like as though you were part of the family, which you are, But I know you do that, so I was just wondering if you ever were on the receiving end of it.
Not with Tiffany's family. I've been more on the receiving end with Joanna's brothers, my previous girlfriend. So, yes, I do that. Only because I care a lot, and I feel like I've been through a lot of experience, like not happy experiences. Like I've been through rough shit, and it's like the last thing I would want them to go through. So when I guess in a way, when it comes to like Vicky or Sabrina's or Becky's or Ashley's, and maybe in Brandon and Austin as well. I want them to be the happiest they can be. I don't want anyone, because I know who they are. I grew up, like, I've been to a good majority of their life events. I've been to every one of their graduations.
Sure. It's been 8 years. That's like a good like third of our lives.
Right. Exactly. And I'm at that point where they're basically my family as well as I am to them. And I just want the best for them. I just want them to make decisions that isn't gonna hurt them in the long run, you know. And I want the best for them. That's it.
Makes sense to me.
And I don't want to do it to intimidate people, but I feel like I get that vibe sometimes. But like, I only really want the best for them, because I don't know, they mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Wow, that's great stuff, Tin. You're a great guy.
No, I'm not. Stop gassing me up, motherfucker. You know how I feel when people compliment to me.
Man, you're a great guy. You're a great boyfriend. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to me.
Of course. All right. Want to wrap it up?
Oh, you're the lead on this one, so you can wrap it up.
At the end of every episode, we do a segment called "What's Up with You." We just talk about what's going on, like things that are interesting or caught our attention this week. What's up with you, Tin?
It wasn't really this week, but all right. I guess the biggest thing on my mind right now is work related. And I know that we're not supposed to really talk about work.
If it's positive, that's fine.
It's not really positive. Well, it's positive and negative at the same time. It's a lot of emotions. My thoughts been around this for a while.
Okay. But no bummers, though.
No bummers. So for a while at my job, I've been on orientation, and this orientation has been for 6 months. So it's a pretty lengthy time. So I've been orienting since July. And what by orient means is that, like, I have always had someone looking over my shoulder when I go to work and do everything that I do. Someone I can lean on in case shit hits the fan at work. I'm like, hey, I don't know what to do in this scenario. Could you help me? So starting at the end of this week, starting next week, I'm going to be on my own. And it's a really big deal.
Wow. More responsibilities.
Yes. So I don't have anyone to lean on. And I'm basically on my own, taking care of the patients. And I have to know what I'm doing. They're there to help if I have questions, but like everything I'm doing on my own. I make my own decisions now. I make my own priorities.
Do you feel confident?
I feel like I'm ready to come off. It's just that I'm scared, you know?
Yeah, it's a new chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal. And I get, just being scared to be on my own. I'm scared to make a mistake, and for no one to catch my mistake. It's very daunting on me. A lot of pressure. Because there's like, if I don't know how to do it, then there's no one going to be there going to be like, to help me out. So it's a big thing.
I mean, that's awesome though. Because now you're the driver now. You know?
Yeah.
You're the master of your own destiny.
True. But they are going to be like, my coworkers will be there to answer any questions I might have, but I'm mostly on my own. Yeah. I make all my own.
Like
decisions.
You still have a support system. You're just...
Yeah, exactly.
Now you just have more responsibility.
Which I'm grateful for. But I think it's time for me to be on my own.
Spread your wings.
Yeah. And then I can take some other people under my wings. But yeah, that's what's up with me. Just work related. I hate bringing work related stuff into the podcast, but it's in my mind. All right, so Alan, what's up with you?
My friend decided to make a Spotify playlist. His concept is that we all put a bunch of songs in there. It's like a collaborative playlist, and then every 2 weeks he's gonna delete all the songs off, and we can upload new songs, which I find extremely refreshing. You know, like, because I feel like I'm listening to the same shit all the time,
right?
And then this is a good way to kind of break out of that and broaden my horizons, listen to stuff that I don't usually listen to, and that's awesome. You know, I just love when people share art with me. Like they're like, oh wow, have you seen this like video for this song? It's so crazy. And then they're like, oh, have you listened to this weird like synth pop band? And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. You know, I just like when people share stuff with me.
Yeah, that's
like,
nice.
Or like when people just, because we always do that in like the group chat. We like post it like, oh, check out this video, check out this song. But then now it's compiled into one place and we can all just listen to the same like weird songs. I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
I think it's a good idea. I like that.
Because Discover Weekly is like they'll give you stuff that's like similar to the songs that you already listened to.
Right.
And I feel like that doesn't help me like branch out because I'm listening to more of the same stuff. But with this playlist, it's like, oh, there's this person's taste and this person's taste, and it all mixes together.
It's like you have one big taste.
Yeah, it's all like refreshing. It's all new stuff.
Have you started this playlist yet?
Yeah. So we all just put a bunch of songs in recently, and he told us the next like reset date was like 2 weeks from now.
Oh.
He's like, I'm going to reset it every Sunday or every other Sunday or something like that.
How long ago did you start this?
We just started like a couple weeks ago.
So did you have one reset yet or no?
Not yet. The first one.
How's it going so far?
I like it because there's a lot of cool stuff that I've never heard before.
And you just kind of like pick and choose what.
I'll just like shuffle through the whole playlist, and then suddenly like something catches my ear. Mm-hmm. I'll go over and then like really pay attention to it and then save it if I really like it.
Right. You know what? We used to have a lot of playlists like that on Spotify too. I think there's one called like Squat Deep. But like my thing about that is that like sometimes I pick way too many songs. I just start like overwhelming the list of the shit that I like, you know? So and, like you don't really see too much of what other people like.
Yeah. So with this playlist, there's like I think he was like limited to like maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
So we each upload 3 or 4. So we have like a nice like 30-something song, 40-something song playlist.
That's actually a good idea. Because then you pick which most important songs are to you.
Yeah. And then
share them.
And then you know it's going to reset in 2 weeks. So you're like, all right, I'll just pick these 3 I really like for now. And I know I like songs that because you know you can share the other songs that you like later. You're like, oh, in 2 weeks I'll just put these songs that I like in there.
Like you queue them up for the next rotation.
Exactly.
That's a good idea. That's good.
I think it's cool. It's fun.
What if you want them to hear those songs earlier? Because they're missing out on the songs that you have queued up because you have to wait for the next rotation to come. Do you see what I'm saying?
But like 2 weeks is not that long of a time. Just be patient.
True. That's true. Sometimes I get into that mindset too where when I'm picking songs for other people to listen, I'm only picking songs I want them to think I listen to on the daily basis, which is not true, which is so stupid.
You're like, oh, this song's so cool. Yeah. I listen to this all the time.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so cool. I listen to this all the time.
It was just dumb. It's just for some reason, how I think. I look back on it, you know, being self-aware, and I'm just like, wow, I'm dumb. So now I started making my own playlist for shit that I like, and I categorize them. But you saw,
yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that's how I used to think.
Wow, and we are done.
Cut.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We did it.
We did it. A lot of shit came out. Good job, Alan.
All right. Good job, Thinh.
Good job, Alan. We should hug after this.
Anyways, turn this all off.